What's the big takeaway from this filing?
The big takeaways right now on first blush is going to be how this company is positioning itself. They're talking about the future of this company, and where they will invest in growth is to develop the camera platform. That's how they're going to drive user engagement. And when I dig in a little bit, again, the first few minutes looking at this deal prospectus, some of the headline numbers that I think are important: 158 million daily active users, 25% of those are posting every day. The other thing that Snap is really pressing is this idea of engagement. It's not about the number of users they have, but it's about the engagement of the users that are on the platform. And that brings us to average revenue per user. For 2016, it was $1.05. That's up from 31 cents in 2015. And they're also saying in the first 3 months of this year, they're bringing in $2.15 per user. So these are some of the big headline things, first blush, we're looking at before we can dig in a little deeper to this thick S1.
Alex, in your reporting, what do we know? Do we know anything about the bankers behind this? Do we know anything about who they've been talking with or have had previous conversations with that might give us some idea who's going to be leading the deal?
So Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs are the two leads on this offering. There's a slew of other banks that you can see in there in the S1, and they're the ones who help them craft the message for the first coming out party for this company. And they're also the ones who are helping them look at what kind of things they need to tell investors. As soon as I go back to my desk, the top things I'm going to be looking at are going to be the risk factors. What is Snap laying out? What are they concerned about? The other thing I would focus on, there's typically an area called competition. That is going to be important as well, to see how they position themselves against the likes of Facebook, of Twitter, and potentially other media companies. The last big thing that comes to mind that their underwriters kind of will help them work through to include in this document are going to be things like legal proceedings and acquisitions. That information will be in this S1 as well. So I will be digging back in for you to bring you more.
And some of the other numbers, or one that big stands out, I just had it on my screen, it says Snap to spend $2 billion, actually that's not as important, 2016 adjusted EBITDA, it's moving so fast, revenue for 2016, $404 million. So this is really substantial. This is not just a company that's sort of like trying to figure out their model. $404 million, that's not nothing.
I will say, Joe, it's a new thing for them. Last year, in 2015, it was closer to 60 million. So you can see the growth there, but they've only really been monetizing users for a couple of years. If you put it in perspective, at the low end of the valuation, $20 billion is what our sources tell us they're going for in terms of market value. That's still, upwards of 50 times trailing 12-month sales. So putting a little perspective on that number, you can see that they have a lot to justify here in terms of the premium that they're having to convince investors to buy into in this IPO.